know.
Crazy Train.
I know.
So, Terror Train got a remake again, technically. So, there was a Thora Birch movie, maybe back in like 2006 or something, called Train, which was originally planned to be a Terror Train remake. Ultimately, it isn't, but that's what it started off as, and on IMDb, it is still listed as a remake to Terror Train. And if I'm going to recommend either of these, go watch the Thora Birch movie. That movie's actually super violent. Like, it's got some wild gore in it. It's actually one of the more underrated films for gore. So that movie is cool. This movie is not. This movie is so poor. Basically, if you've seen Terror Train, you know, when you go to make an update, right? You're going to do it for a couple different reasons. Number one, money, which is what they're going for here, which is, it's Tubi. It's a Tubi original, right? So Tubi put this out for people to come check it out because it's got name brand recognition. It's a Jamie Lee Curtis slasher film of the early 80s, right? So it does have some draw to it. That's the main reason most people even remember this. I'm a pretty, I like the first one. I don't love it, but I quite like it. I think there's a lot of memorable stuff. You've got David Copperfield as the magician. You've got Jamie Lee Curtis. You've got the dude from Die Hard in it. You got some cool stuff, and I love the conductor in the first movie. In the original movie, I think he's charming and sweet and funny and awesome. So yeah, this movie basically does almost a shot-for-shot remake all the way up until the last maybe 10 minutes, and then they decide to make this major change, which is so stupid. And it's like,
dumb.
Man, like, I was actually really excited at first, because like there was a moment where, and I was like, oh, this could be kind of brilliant. This is actually something I might even do if I made a remake, where you psych the audience out. You know, you kind of pull a Psycho on them in a way, where you pull the rug out under and you kill the main protagonist right in the middle of the movie, and people are like, well, shit, I don't. So what was happening is, like, the movie's almost, identical, the same. You know, the prank in the beginning, and you know, when he twists in the curtains that are around the bed, the whole deal. They get on the train, the people are wearing the lizard costume and this and that. It's all the same shit. There was a moment where the Jamie Lee Curtis character is in front of the killer, and he like pulls out a knife. You know, she doesn't see it, but I'm like, oh, they made this shot for shot up until this moment. Yeah. So like any fan, because almost everybody who's going to be watching this movie for the most part, in my opinion, is going to be someone who's a fan of the original. And I'm like, how cool would it have been to completely subvert expectations by lulling everybody into this false sense of like thinking that the movie was going to be shot for shot, and then boom, he kills Jamie Lee Curtis's character, who's the final girl of Terror Train. And then it just goes, whoa.
Sure, yeah.
Right? You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, what happens now? All bets are off. This is a completely different film. What goes from here? And then from that point on, you make a completely different film.
Yeah.
Right? That would be absolutely brilliant, in my opinion. To completely subvert expectations by making everyone think you're just going to follow this, like, you know, like when Gus Van Sant did Psycho's remake, and he did it shot for shot, and you're like, oh god, here we go, he's going to do the same thing, and then boom, nope.
Well, it's also,
but
like,
no, they didn't do that. They didn't do that at all. They just did the whole freaking film, and in a much inferior version.
Yes. But doing it the way that you were speaking of, like, just now, like, it's also like an homage, and it would have been really cool to be like, hey, we're acknowledging the original, we love the original, but we want to tell our own, like, version of the story. But that is not what happens. This is shot for shot up until the very end, and it's a super predictable like change.
Even if you have never seen the original.
Even if you've never seen the original, like what they switch is you see it coming from so far away. You literally pointed it out like
the second. I don't want to say anything.
I don't even know. Yeah, but
we are going to talk spoilers right after we're done. Just quickly, trust me. I don't want to spend more than a couple minutes on the spoilers.
But all the kills are boring, uninspired. You don't see anything.
Gore.
There's like one nudity,
one boob, but they tease like crazy.
Yes. And it really felt like a PG-13. Like this was catered towards teenagers, but not in a good way. Just like it was weird. It was really hard to relate to any characters. I don't feel like the acting from the main girl. I don't feel like her acting was poor, but. No. I just wasn't, it was just very lukewarm, very boring, and just kind of a waste, honestly. Like, if you've seen the original, you don't feel like you need to see this one.
Not at all. No chance.
The original is much, much better, in my opinion.
Sure. And I don't even think the original is that great.
No,
right?
it's not.
But it's far superior to this.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Like, if I saw this without having seen Terror Train, I would have just... Like, if, like, Terror Train didn't exist, right? This was its own thing, and this was, you know, a movie. I would have just been like, that was fine-ish. Mm-hmm. Not really. It was kind of poor. Like, I would just be like, whatever about it. But because the original exists, and I know what that has to offer, and I know they obviously watch that, and they know it exists, and whatever, you're like, why'd you even make this? What's the point of this movie, right? Like, I don't get why this exists. Like, if you want to see a good example of a remake, watch the Elijah Wood Maniac.
Yes.
Right? Like, you're taking the core and then you're artistically changing everything else to put a completely different spin. This doesn't do anything.
No.
Except for it changes the ending, and it makes the end, which is actually like... one of my favorite parts of the film, and then they take it and they make it stupid. And you're like, bro, you can't even nail the one cool thing about this movie. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So, dreadful.
We said boo so much.
Oh, boo.
We were like, boo.
Boo. Cut away from every kill.
Yeah.
Every chick that's like tit teasing like crazy. You think like, even a girl takes her top down and they do the like pan up. And I'm like, pan down. Why are we panning up? And I'm just like, what is this? What are... So, here's the question. I've asked this on the channel but 1,000 times. I'm never going to stop asking it. Why make a slasher movie that does not show the kills? I genuinely don't understand this. Are there people out there that like slasher movies but don't want to see gore? Is there an audience out there for that?
Oh,
is that a thing?
I'm sure there is, yeah.
How much percentage of slasher fans do you think
I don't know.
do not want to see the kills?
I don't know.
2%? 1%? 0.01%?
It probably is a little higher than you think.
Slasher fans want kills to be shown.
Yes.
Period.
Most
okay?
of the time I think that's
99.9%. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Slasher fans like gore. Slasher fans want to see kills. If you're gonna make a slasher film, you know, you gotta show the kills. You don't have to show nudity. That's not necessary. It's an added bonus. It's not necessary. The kills, though, are absolutely dire. You have to show them.
I agree with you 1,000%, but there are a lot of horror fans who do not like seeing gore.
But they're not slasher fans. They purposely avoid. If you're someone who's opposed to gore, and you put on a slasher movie and are upset and are like, oh, I just wish this didn't have gore, fuck you. That is so stupid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch a slasher movie, but I don't want them to show the kills. Get out of here. Get lost. Go watch something else. That is not that. This is like I say, and I will always make this comparison. That is like watching porn and being mad that they showed nudity. Dude, what? No.
Yeah.
Right? No. Anyways, moving on. Let's talk spoilers really quick, just because I want to talk about the ending, and that's it. So spoilers if you haven't seen it, and you can watch the spoilers because you ain't gonna watch the movie. We're just gonna tell you what happens, and then you can avoid the whole damn thing, like you should. So the big twist that I called from 1,000 freaking minutes before it happened. That's longer than the movie, so I'm amazing like that.
Yeah.
Is that the killer that is in the original, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the
Kenny?
Kenny, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny. So number one, Kenny is not the magician's assistant.
Nope.
He's not in drag throughout the film. The magician has no assistant. The magician in this is not sexy. He's not charismatic. He is way too old for
weird
hitting on this girl who's like 20. I mean,
I don't even care about the age
I don't care about
thing.
the age difference at all. If she wants to bang some dude that's 80, I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
But there's no chemistry between them.
Yeah, and he's like, they say multiple characters like, oh, he's sexy and everything. I'm just like,
oh, like every chick's all about him in this.
Though, like I would know. I'm into the like dark older man.
Sure.
But like that was not captured here, in my opinion, and I'm the expert, so therefore.
There you go.
Yes.
So anyway, yeah, Kenny is not his assistant.
Nope.
He has no assistant. Kenny's just walking around in some
bunny costume. He's a part of their like in the end she's looking through her phone and all the pictures that she's been taking throughout the night, he was there with them, like partying with them, but just in this costume.
So the reveal is that Kenny does none of the killings. Mm-hmm. It's actually dun 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 his mom who's the conductor. Yeah. They take the best character, the sweetest character, the most likable character in the first movie. They make that character completely sidelined through the film. And I told you, like I turned to Kaylee, literally her first scene, and I was like, something wrong. There's something up with her.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with her. But I just was super suspicious. And when she was sidelined, I was like, they're sidelining her for a reason.
Yeah.
And then when I saw the killings happening, I was like, oh, she's the killer.
Yeah.
Why is she the killer? And I was like, oh my God, she's his mom.
Yes.
And I was like, so his mom's doing the killing? So where's he? And is he ever going to be the... And then I thought for a second, I thought they were going to pull off something really cool. And I thought Kenny was going to be posing as the blow-up doll. Right. That he like dressed himself in the doll, like after he stole it from the funny guy. Mm-hmm. The one good thing we will say about the movie is the clown mask is really creepy.
It is. We were really into the clown
and it's
mask.
mostly because of the eyes.
The eyes,
the way they did the eyes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
clown mask was really cool. That's like the one thing I liked about the film. The rest of it,
boo. Yeah.
Boo.
But yeah, it's revealed in the end that Kenny's not doing the killings. Yeah. His mother is, and they have a big fight. And then, of course, you know, she kills her, throws her off the train tracks, and ooh, stinger for the sequel.
She's not dead.
She opens her eyes. Oh no. Terror Train 2. Terror Train.
More terror, more train.
Yeah. Just so dumb. What a dumb change.
Yeah.
It's like, that change is for people who've seen the original and they're like, we're gonna pull the rug out from under you. You think you know what's going on. It's like, well, I knew that it was gonna be something different because you didn't have Kenny as the assistant. There was no assistant.
Exactly.
I was really looking forward to seeing that kid in drag.
Sure. Well, and you also, like you said, sidelined the conductor character, right? So the fact that they're not drawing attention because they're trying to make the viewer forget about them if they haven't seen the original, and then I don't know what the plan was with it, but it was just very poorly done. And like it had production quality. Yeah. It didn't have atmosphere. It had no style or anything. But it was like the shots looked good. Like there could have been something done with the equipment that was being used is basically, I guess, what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
But
whoever was behind the camera had nothing to offer. Yeah. Nothing to offer. You had a dreadful script, which basically you just took the original script, you changed a couple things at the end, wrote in some really stupid dialogue changes, and that's your script. Pathetic. This is a pathetic script, and I don't know if they forced their hands. I don't want to put all the blame on the writer or the director. I don't know. Maybe Tubi was like, we want the movie to suck, so make sure it does.
After we sent all those people to Tubi for all the found footage films on there.
Yeah.
Wow, Tubi. Thanks.
Yeah. To be or not to be.
For this one, not
to
to
be.
be.
No, not to be.
We're done.
We're done.
We're done.
Yeah.
We're gonna go talk about another movie.
Yep, let's do it.
See us there.
Bye.
Bye.